Hey guys, what's up? This is DCD19, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming iPhone 5S and 5C. Quick channel update before I begin today's episode. School is starting up for me here soon. In fact, my first day is tomorrow, so that means that the rate of videos is going to be slowing down considerably compared to the summer. So expect a video once every month, 2 weeks, something like that, but the rate of videos unfortunately is going to have to slow down. I'm sorry for that, but not too much I can do about it. As well, we're almost at 100 subscribers, so I might do a special video of some sort for a 100 subscriber special, so that's pretty exciting, and thank you to all of you who have subscribed. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. It's no secret that Apple really needs to hit it home with these two new iPhones. And I say iPhones as we're expected to see Apple release two iPhones. One, the standard iPhone 5S, which would be the successor to the iPhone 5, and the iPhone 5C, which would be a cheaper alternative to the iPhone 5S. This cheaper iPhone would be especially useful in emerging markets such as India and China, where cheaper phones sell really well. Even here in North America, cheaper phones sell excellent compared to even the most expensive phones such as the iPhone. Meaning that with this cheaper phone, Apple will be able to get out of their saturated higher-end market and sell a lot more phones. As for Apple's flagship phone, which is expected to be called the iPhone 5S, there's several things that are almost nearly confirmed and other things which are highly speculated. Of course, there's going to be a lot of upgrades to the internal specs, as there is almost every year with every phone. So we're going to see a new Apple A7 processor as opposed to the A6 in the iPhone 5, and that should be a nice speed increase. As for if it being a dual-core or quad-core, I'm not really sure, but I expect still a dual-core, though a quad-core would be a nice speed increase. As for graphics, the Power VR graphics in the iPhone 5 are already pretty good, but I expect that to be another upgrade, continuing Apple's legacy of very good graphics in their mobile devices. As for RAM, I expect it to stay 1GB as with the iPhone 5. Though iOS 7 is a whole lot more demanding, I still think they're not going to splurge too much, as overall iOS is not as demanding as Android when it comes to RAM. There are a lot of rumors surrounding the camera, but we almost are guaranteed that there will be an upgrade. As with the iPhone 4S, we're going to see a new, better sensor. However, we're not sure if this is going to be an 8-megapixel sensor or a 13-megapixel sensor. The 8-megapixel sensor, if it is true, would bring the aperture up to 2.0, which would allow much better low-light performance. But if it went with a 13-megapixel sensor, it would get better detail in pictures and would also match the GS4 and the upcoming LG G2, annotation top right corner, as I made a video talking about that last episode. As for form factor, I think it should stay the same at 4 inches. That's kind of a disappointment. Most people want 4.5-inch, 4.7-inch, even 5.5-inch screens, which, though it may seem kind of ridiculous, if you upgrade to that, a lot of people say you can't go back. That being said, however, I don't expect them to upgrade the screen size or the form factor at all, really, but there is a whole lot of rumors that the iPhone will now be included in gold, which is a nice option, but people are complaining about that. I'm not really sure why, but gold might be another option along with white and black. So we've more or less broken Apple's upgrade cycle. It goes iPhone 5 or iPhone 4, which is a form factor upgrade, and then the iPhone 5S or 4S, which will be an upgrade and an optimization of that design. For instance, better cameras, faster internals, but it will be the same form factor. More or less, this is the same pattern that we're going to see with a lot of Apple phones and a lot of Apple products in general. As for other speculation, there's rumors that there will be a fingerprint sensor included right in the home button. So with my iPhone 4S, it's 4S, if I was to hold down the home button, it would unlock. It's a very interesting idea, and I'm pretty sure there's been phones with it, but it would be a cool little gimmick, but a gimmick it would be. There has been hints of that in the iOS 7 beta tests that have been going around, that there's some kind of fingerprint software and hardware built right into the next phone. It's, of course, a gimmick, as I just said, but it's something kind of cool and something highly advertisable. So that's nearly everything that's been speculated for the iPhone 5S. It's clearly not going to be a huge upgrade, it's not going to be anything overwhelming, not a huge screen, nothing really monster specs, or even the camera is not going to be a huge deal, but it will be a nice upgrade for people coming from the iPhone 4 or 4S, and should be a pretty nice device. Now, moving back to the iPhone 5C, as I mentioned earlier, let's talk about some of the specs and what it will really look like compared to its flagship brother in the iPhone 5S. As for internal specifications of this iPhone 5C, I expect it to have very, very similar internals to the iPhone 4S, the iPad 2, and the iPad mini. That being said, it should feature an Apple A5 processor, that is a dual-core 1 GHz processor. Along with that, it should have 512 megabytes of RAM, which is a very, very small amount compared to something like really anything out there that runs Android, which most of them have 2 gigabytes of RAM. It will also have a plastic shell instead of aluminum or glass, as we've seen with the last 3 generations of the iPhone 5 and 4S and 4 and the upcoming iPhone 5S. So this is going to allow them to experiment with colors, so there should be quite a few color options ranging from yellow to black to brown. So a whole lot of color options, which will be kind of a customizable feature of this new phone. It will also be lighter and will feel not as premium as the other iPhones, of course, as it is plastic. So what we're going to see with this iPhone 5C is Apple really getting out of their comfort zone and producing something that's not made for the high end. It's made for anyone. It's made for the lower end. It's made for mid-range. It's something that's going to allow Apple to expand their phone market past their already saturated part. It hasn't dominated, but Apple has a large chunk of the high-end market, whereas Android and Samsung have a lot of the mid-range and low-range markets, as they're able to produce tons of different types of phones that cater to different markets. With this 5C, they'll be able to go to the low end and the mid-range market and take some of those sales back from Samsung. The 5C will more than likely feature the same 4-inch panel as on the iPhone 5, and that should be the same resolution and same quality, which is a very good thing. It should also feature an 8-megapixel camera, probably the same one that's on the iPhone 5, maybe the same one that's on the iPhone 4S, which they're slightly different, but not really a big difference at all. So in conclusion, what we're going to see is a nice product launch from Apple. Nothing that's going to blow your socks off, though. I don't think we're going to see anything crazy. Maybe we'll see some new software on the same day, which is probably going to be a September 10th release date. We're probably going to see some new iPods, maybe a new Mac Retina display. I don't think we're going to see the iPads on this day, but the iPads are coming up. But honestly, I don't think even if we do get all these things that I've talked about today, it's not going to be able to take over the market like the, iPhone 4 did, or the iPhone 4 didn't, but it's not going to be anything revolutionary with a nice, 500 ppi screen or anything. It's going to be a nice upgrade, but nothing that's going to blow your socks off. So anyways, guys, that will finish it off for today's video. Please leave suggestions for future videos. I spend a lot of time making these videos, so be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and have a nice day.